This is the Good Rookies Show. We're bringing you the latest in sports and culture. All right, I'm your host, Nelly J, alongside Randy Holcolmb in the building.
You already know
The
what
return. So, folks, we're so excited. We got some cool topics today. We're recording before the Super Bowl. Rand would love to hear your thoughts on your predictions. So when this comes out, we're either going to look right or wrong. But who you got winning the Super Bowl? Who you got?
Come on, man. It's such
quick.
a loaded question, man. My team is the Kansas City Chiefs. I believe that they can win, but I think that Philadelphia, man, they got a lot of players at a lot of different positions, and the run game is one that we're gonna have to figure out how to stop, and then we're gonna have to figure out how to keep the pass rush from getting to Patrick Mahomes. So I think it's going to be a very, very interesting situation that we face. But I'm counting on the Chiefs to figure something out. They figure something out every other week, so they better figure something out this week. Who you got? Who you got winning?
Yeah, it's so funny. Like, I want to pick the Philadelphia Eagles with all my fiber or atoms or protons or neutrons, or electrons, all them things, right? I want to pick them, but I can't go against Pat Mahomes. Like, he just finds ways to win. Philly has the better roster, and the Chiefs got Holmes. So today's all about who performs, any given Sunday. So I'll go with the Chiefs for now, but I think we both respect Philly enough to know that if they win, no shocker here, right?
Right.
So, and this could be probably Travis Kelce Black run.
Yeah.
He's getting kind of older, so let's see what they do. Switching it up, Rand does the Run Daily Show every day on X Spaces, so 10 to 12 p.m. Eastern. It's a great show. He breaks down scores, his thoughts on what happened in each game, and what to look out for up-and-coming talent. One thing I do want to talk about, a lot of trades happened. I want you to give me your favorite trade that you saw this past week or last week, and then the worst trade you saw.
Well, my favorite trade was probably the best and the worst all together, and that was the Luka trade. I mean, anytime you can get a top 5 player in the league, you know what I mean, that's probably a pretty good trade, right? But I think the worst part of that came with the fact that there was such a backlash for Nico Harrison as the GM of the Dallas Mavericks, man. I mean, he's been having death threats. They had to beef up security. And on top of that, in the first game that AD plays in, Anthony Davis, while playing in his first game, pulls up right in the third quarter and does not return to the game. So it's hard to say that the return on value right now makes a whole lot of sense. But I've said this before, and I said this in your spaces and in my spaces on X, that we don't know what's going on in that building. We don't know what's been said about him, about Luka, whatever the case may be. So I guess that's a discussion for another day. But the worst trade, I believe, is the Davion Mitchell trade.
Davion Mitchell.
Davion Mitchell
Miami.
went to Miami.
Yes.
And why? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand. You see what I'm saying? Like, why? Like, is he going to play? You know what I mean? Like, he's been on a couple different teams. And this isn't a knock to him. It just doesn't necessarily fit into what it is they do unless they're going to move Tyler Hero to the 3.
Oh, no, they can't move because, I mean, I'm curious to see if Pat knows he's a two-way guard, right? Well, he's one-way guard defensively. I don't know about
I'm about to say, two ways of what? two ways where?
He's one-way defensively. But I'm wondering if he probably picked him up and will use him like a trade piece, right? I don't know. Maybe he's someone that a team may look for, that he knows wants or something. Because we all know that Miami's not done yet, right? They're making more moves, so.
Yeah, amen. Well, the next move that they make will be either in free agency or in
free agency. Yeah, free agency probably.
I just think that there's so many things that team could have used. I'm not quite sure that trading for Davion Mitchell would have been, would have been the last thing that I did as an organization. But again, Pat Riley has been part of 25% of the championships that have been played in the NBA. So clearly he knows more than I do. Yeah, tell me who you thought were what trades did you really like and what trade did you really hate?
I'm trying to think. There's so many, like I told you, a lot of trades were just kind of in circles, trading jerseys. I didn't really like any trade, to be honest. Like, was like, wow, what it took last year. There were trades that I'm like, oh my gosh. Like when Dallas picked up PJ and Gafford, oh my gosh, great pickup. You know what I mean? Like certain trades I can remember. This trade deadline, Luka was the biggest trade, and I think that was a good trade for the Lakers. I think Lakers won that trade.
Right.
I thought the worst trade was the one that was rescinded. I did not like the Mark Williams to connect and Cam Reddish trade. I thought that was a terrible trade. I thought Lakers gave up way too much for that center. He doesn't deserve the type of energy. 2 players and a pick swap for him. So, and that trade was rescinded. So the trade that I didn't like got canceled anyway. So I was kind of laughing at it because I was being told that he's a game changer. Just like, Mamba when they got him. Why is every center they get is a game changer? And none have been. Mamba got traded away. They had Christian Wood. Oh, Christian Wood, he's a game changer. Like, I don't understand. But nonetheless, that was the worst trade and it got canceled. So that's moot. But yeah,
so you did not like. Come on, man. You a Canadian. You didn't like the trade that you guys made.
No, I like the Brandon Ingram pickup. I was more excited with the Kawhi pickup when it happened because we were a top seed team, and that was a missing piece. It just fit. Right now, we are in rebuilding, and Brandon Ingram's a good player in terms of entertainment, offensively. He looks great. I'm looking at, okay, he's one piece of the puzzle, but like I told you in many spaces, one guy got to go. And I'm not going to say his name, Q, but one guy got to go so we can figure more things out. I still think we're a couple, like 2 or 3 pieces away. He's a good addition, right? But our backup center, we picked up Wiseman. Let's see what that's about. That's probably my second favorite trade. Out of all the trades, it was Luka. Second was BI. I thought that was a good move because he does increase our talent by like a lot. Because we didn't have anyone with that skill set on our team. And the person that could get there, maybe Grady, he's like 3-4 years away from even becoming really good like that. So no, I thought Brandon Ingram is a good piece for Toronto for sure. But the top trade is Luka. Lakers getting him they got lucky.
Yes, they did.
So just switching gears here, Rand, we have the NBA All-Star Game coming up this weekend, a new format. The commentators of TNT's Inside the NBA, they actually had a draft. And so Charles, Shaquille, Kenny, they're team GMs. And then the winner of the Rising Stars tournament, they also play as the 4th team in the All-Star Game, which is a different format. So it's kind of like a mini tournament in a sense. And last year was such a terrible All-Star Game. I literally turned off my screen. It was a 3-point contest in a game. That was how nasty it was. There was no defense. Typical folks, Jokic, Luka, did not care to play. They made it very clear. They were playing more in the warm-up than they did in the All-Star Game. Candace Parker will be the GM for the Rising Star champion, Team Candace. So another cool thing they added this year was the voting process for the slam dunk contest. Every year, there's always controversy, and some judges are haters, Dwayne Wade, and others. So now this year, fans can actually go on the NBA app, place their votes, and there's an NBA member rep, Jesser is his name, who will be sharing the fan vote during the live slam dunk contest. I guess it'll create more engagement, right? Mm-hmm. More eyes, and fans will feel like they're more involved, which I think is a good look. Having fans' involvement in an All-Star game where possible will always be great. And I think if this hits for a dunk contest, they can keep having this moving forward. But those are 2 things I want to highlight on the NBA All-Star weekend. All-Star game changes, no more East versus West tournament style. And of course, having the Rising Stars champions, if they come in there, Rad, because they're going to want to beat these All-Stars, how funny will that be if the All-Star team, a team loses to the Rising Stars, right? So give me your thoughts on the new format. You got it.
Well, I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I don't. I'm glad you did all the talking because I hate it, man. I think that listen, we got an All-Star game. We got an East and a West, and I think that the best thing that you can do is to figure out a way to incentivize the idea of playing hard during that game, which is one of the reasons that they're doing all these changes now. I could care less about, and I think the show is great. The TNT deal that they do, Charles Barkley and Shaquille and Kenny Smith, and it's been great for the last 20 some odd years. But I don't care that they're involved, and I want to see the All-Stars play. You know what I mean? I want to see the All-Star, and I would like to see them play harder. But I just think we're in a space now. The reason that they're not playing hard is because, again, in my opinion, because we've made so many concessions for them not to play hard, right? There's no pride. In my opinion, there's a lack of pride to be in the game, or the lack of the ability for the players to see that that's an absolute honor to play, instead of just going out there and just playing your hardest without getting hurt. And there's going to be some flair. There's going to be some times where people let people go by, let them, without fouling, play without fouling, and all the rest of that kind of stuff, so that people can get back to their teams. I get that. But the last thing I want to see is a group of non-all-stars playing out there with a group of all-stars. I don't get, you know what I'm saying? It's like the pros versus Joes type concept. I could care less about you know what I mean? Like those guys who play in that on that Team Candace or whatever, man. And if I was her, I'd be pissed off, because she probably can beat most of the people on that panel one-on-one. So I would want to. Yeah, that's a hot take, but I would definitely want to see the All-Stars play versus the All-Stars. The dunk contest, again, I think it's just unexciting, and I think this is a way to get people involved in the dunk contest. Now, the best dunkers in the world right now are not the ones that are playing in the NBA for whatever reason. It's more of the guys who are in the G League. It's more street ballers, more.
Yeah, I think there's one G Leaguer.
Well, no, I'm saying the best dunkers in the world currently are not in the NBA.
Oh,
they're G Leaguers and street ballers and internet sensations. They're not the NBA players, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And the ones who we would love to see, I think don't want to participate for whatever reason. Either they don't want to get hurt or whatever the case may be. But in recent history, one of my favorite players in the league, Trey Murphy, is somebody that I would love to sit and watch him participate in the dunk contest again. Derrick Jones Jr., I would love to see him participate in the dunk contest. There's a few guys out there that I would love to see. Zach LaVine, I would like to see him back in the dunk contest. I think that some of these guys need to be repeat offenders. But the way it's set right now,
twice though,
but to do it a third time, because he is one of the most explosive dunkers in the league. You know what I mean?
No, I agree.
So I would love to see him, participate more than calling up a guy from the G League to have him play for 2 weeks so that he could participate in the dunk contest. I don't know that that's necessarily it. Just my thoughts though. I don't want to disparage anybody, because I love and respect the game. Probably more than anything else. I would really, really like to see the participants in that weekend give everything that they can in an all-star format. I guess that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And that's something with the all-star game. Last year was just, it was a shooting contest. Certain guys just always play hard because they know this is the opportunity to showcase the game. I think Wemby is going to be a great addition to All-Star game. I'm not mad at it, because I feel like the rising stars, if they can embarrass these old heads, they will. And so I think it'll put some fire in their tail to say, yo, we can't let these guys who are rising guys beat us. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that format, it's mini tournament of 4 teams, 3 games. And I think it's good, because it's going to make them work harder and play harder. Plus, it's a smaller roster. And sometimes the rotations are weird in the All-Star game. So I think this might work, but who knows? They're trying it all because they want to keep it exciting. For the dunk contest, I do want to let you know who is going to be in it. It has the defending champ, Mac McClung, Orlando Magic team, a G League team in Osceola. Andre Jackson Jr. for the Bucks. He's an NBA player. Stephon Castle, one of your faves, for the Spurs. Mataz Buzelis from the Bulls. So there are some guys. I would like to have at least one veteran in here, but I guess none has signed up for it. So, but big up to Jaylen Brown for doing it last year. That was really dope, that he decided to, try a thing. So, yeah, those are the 4.
I'm taking Stephon Castle in this deal, man. That kid is a rocket. I really
think he'll be
like
fun.
watching him play. Yeah,
Yeah, me
yeah.
too.
I think
This
he's
was
going
fun
to
to
have a fun
watch.
career. Yeah, I think his
Yeah,
career is going to be like that too. He's going to have a really, really unique and fun career.
awesome. So, guys, enjoy the All Star game. Let's see who wins. Have you seen the teams for the All Star? The team I like was the international team. I think Charles Barkley had like Wemby, all the bigs. I liked his team. Actually, let me name the All Star 2025 teams so everyone knows because they had the live draft. So I'm not sure if everyone saw who got what. But okay, so let's go. Team Shaq has LeBron James, AD, Kevin Durant, James Harden, Steph Curry, Jason Tatum, Lillard, and Jalen Brown. All Americans. Team Shaq went straight like USA.
Yeah.
Okay. Team Kenny, he had Ant-Man, Triple J, Darius Garland, Kate Cunningham, Jalen Brunson, Jalen Williams, Evan Mobley, and Tyler Hero. All Americans. Again. So 2 USA teams. Team Chuck, the team I like, is international. So he got Jokic, Giannis, SGA, Wemby, Pascal, Sengun, Kat, and Donovan Mitchell. That's the team I got winning. Okay. Everyone's tall as hell. The only person that's small is Donovan Mitchell. But after him, everyone else is at least 6'7", 6'8". So I'm going with that too. And of course, Team Candace is all the winner of the Rising Stars tournament. So what team do you like the best, Red?
I would probably have to say Shaq's group is probably the one that I would probably say I like the best. You know what I mean?
Understandably
you
so.
know,
They got a lot of MVPs: Kevin Durant, LeBron, Steph,
I mean, it's hard not to
and
like
James
that,
Harden.
especially
Yeah.
right. 3 of those guys just played and won a gold medal last year in Paris, so it's hard to say that they won't. You know that
Yeah,
you
4.
don't like them.
It had James Tatum, Steph,
Oh,
Kevin
that's
Durant,
right. That's right. That's
James.
right. You know,
Yeah, these
So
are all like all these guys have a ring except for Damian Lillard and James Harden.
right.
Everyone else has
So
won a
it's hard.
championship. I'm thinking when they're playing the team that I like, which is Chuck team, when they have to pick up Jokic, Wemby at the same time. That's
Yeah,
gonna be a
yeah,
problem.
yeah. No, I got
That's gonna be
you.
a
I got you.
problem.
Yeah, I got you.
But
I
we'll
got
see
you.
the lineups. But I would have my backcourt SGA, Donovan Mitchell, Sengun could play the 3, or so can
Yeah,
Victor, and then you have Jokic
yeah,
or have Kat
yeah.
and Giannis. So it's going to be
That's
fun to watch.
Yeah, that's a pretty
But
big team. That's a pretty
yeah,
big
that's
team.
a big yeah. But I do
Yeah,
think,
that's a big team.
but to your point, I do think the weakest team is definitely Team Kenny. But hey, we'll see,
Yeah.
right? We'll see.
We'll see how it plays out. Definitely
Yeah.
see how it plays out.
Should be fun.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So let's go to our next segment for the culture. All right. So as you know, I like to highlight folks for the culture every week. And this week we want to highlight Asia Wilson. She has 2 WNBA rings, 2 Olympic gold medals, NCAA championship, and 3 WNBA MVPs. But what she didn't have before was her own signature shoe, which dropped at the beginning of Black History Month, February 4th. What I love about this shoe and the drop is the color scheme. It's called A1s. It kind of really signifies who she's the player, right? Sleek, very colorful, and just bold. These shoes to me look very lit. I have to get a pair. But you know, she was named in the spring of last year a part of Nike's roster for footwear, and apparently that deal was in the works for a while. But I'm just so excited for her for having these shoes dropped. Her boo Bam Adebayo wore it the same day. He played in those shoes as well, and they look so good. So big up to Asia Wilson. You know what I'm saying? We haven't seen a Nike like a shoe like this from a Black woman athlete in such a long time. I think she may be the first. To have her own shoes that are actually not like a promotional shoe, but actual line, a shoe line. Because a shoe line isn't the same as having shoes, featured, right? Yeah, 2 different things. So big up to her on the A1 signature shoe. And apparently the A1 Hooper inspires kids to reach their dreams. That's the motivation behind the shoes, and it's available from kid size up until adult. So big up to her. So any thoughts, Rand, on the A1s? Have you seen them? You like them or what?
I have seen them. Man. I thought it was a pretty nice shoe. I think that It's always sort of a weird situation when you are talking about women's shoes versus men's shoes in basketball and stuff like that, because it starts to become very gender specific. But I think the last couple of shoes that have been dropped for women or by women, hers and Sabrina just recently, I think that they're gender neutral, and you know, I have a pair of the Sabrinas, you know what I'm saying? So I think that, you know, they're dope, and I love them. You know what I mean? I got that clear bottom on them, man. They all white. I'm rocking with those. But I saw these and I was like, man, that's pretty dope. I thought it was if I take the name off of the shoe, not that I need to, but if I took the name off of the shoe and say, hey, just would I wear this just because? The answer is absolutely yes. You know, I thought it was pretty cool. The pink was a little hot for me, but if it were, you know, a different color, and I'm sure it'll come in different colors somewhere down the line.
She announced that they will have different color schemes for sure.
Yeah, but I also understand that, you know, she's a sorority girl, and that, you know, my understanding is that pink is one of their colors, and, you know, I'm sure her favorite color. One of the reasons that it's her favorite color. Shout out to the AKAs of the world. You know, I think I think it's a really, really nice shoe, and it looks really, really comfortable. And I think that the twist of her friend wearing the shoe, her friend Bam wearing the shoe, I thought was dope. And I thought him wearing the shoes in game will propel it in a way that it will, you know, again, it markets it in a way that men and women alike can buy the sneaker.
Oh, I love that. And like, I agree with everything you said. One thing I did want to highlight on the shoe was that she was paying tribute to her grandmother, which was a message from her book. The quote unquote was, "As a matter of fact, the best is yet to come," and the symbols on the shoe is the names of her mom and dad paying homage to her parents. The belief that a family means everything. During her post game, one of her trademark quotes on the heel is weakness, we don't have time for that. I really think you can tell they took time to make this very unique to her and to her message and to what she wants to inspire others with. But I love that that trademark, weakness, we don't have time for that. I may have to put that on a stand. But not only does she have a shoe, she has apparel. It's with a hoodie,
Right.
Cropped hoodie, sateen lined hood to keep his hair styled, because, you know, Black girls' hair, we don't want no cotton
Watch
line
out
kind of
now.
mess up the hair. So having
Watch
that like
out.
a smooth lining in it. She's gonna have shorts, full length t-shirts with all the colors. So yeah, and of course mesh shorts. I mean, they're gonna have a whole collection, not just the shoes. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope you all support Asia Wilson's new collection. I think it's just amazing, and we just have to support each other. So big up to Asia Wilson for her signature shoe and her collection, her apparel
That's what's
collection
up,
as
man.
well.
That's what's up.
Awesome.
All them AKAs out there better go buy it all up too. All you AKAs better go out there and
Yep.
support that. You know what I'm saying? Along with all of the black women out there who aspire to be basketball players and or anything in life, man. Asia has been a real beacon of hope and sustainability and championship nature while being herself. I think that's the dopest thing about her, is that she's still fun loving. From afar, you can tell that she's still fun loving, still approachable, still cool, but still feisty. You can tell that all those things, and then very serious about the craft. So shout out to her, man. Make sure y'all get out there and support that, man. Make sure you get out there and grab
Absolutely.
everything that's in those stores. Make sure you make sure everything sells out. You know, if you got daughters, I know mine. I'm gonna do what I can to make sure that I support her line as well.
Love it. All right, guys, heading to our last segment. That's absurd. This topic, right? When I saw this tweet the other day, I said, "Oh yeah, this gotta be the most absurd thing I read this week." So let me break it down. Apparently, okay, Kendrick Perkins, he's an ex-NBA player. He now is, you know, a media commentary person, right? And so he acclaimed on television or via ESPN at NBA Stream IG. I'm going to quote my sources here. NBA Central tweeted about this the other day, and I was like, what? So apparently, Kendrick Perkins said he was the real leader of the Thunder. Here's the quotes, okay? It doesn't mean your best player is your leader. When I was with the Thunder, it wasn't KD, it wasn't Russ, it wasn't James. I was the one leading. And that was quoted via ESPN at NBA Stream IG. What made it even more absurd? Kevin Durant quoted and retweeted that tweet. And Kevin Durant said, I know this may be a reach, but this comment is by far the craziest shit I've seen this week. End quote. That was Kevin Durant himself. So, Ren, what's your thoughts on this absurd? Go ahead, you got it.
You know, I think sometimes when you're trying to make a point, maybe I'm guilty of this. I got some partners that I'm really cool with on different platforms, different friends in life. When they're trying to make a point, their initial point is valid. So if you go back and listen to what you said initially about the best player not always being the leader of the team leader,
yeah,
true, right? True statement. Now, the next portion of that is where sometimes all we need is a period, right? Sometimes all we need is just to put a period and go to the next thing. What we don't need to do all the time is give commentary about what we just said, because it takes validity away from the point that we were making to begin with. Listen, man, homie was a champion. Right, he was and a good player. Shout out to South Texas where he's from, man. I get all of that, but I gotta say I wasn't in that locker room 1 second. I can't believe that Kevin Durant would care about what he got to say at any point in time, or any of the other people that were on that team that went on to be MVPs of the entire league. Now, there are people that do lead their team. From that space. Draymond Green is one of those. But at the same time, we didn't got tired of Draymond Green too, and I'm not quite sure that Steph listens to him. You know what I'm saying? In a lot of situations, he probably hears him, but I don't think that he's, he takes what he has to say into account. But I don't know that he's necessarily leading the group, right? I just think that that's a narrative that some people paint. But I was caught completely off guard when you sent this to me. I got to looking around. I was completely lost as to how we got here. I had no idea as to when did this happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, so again, my thoughts, but I was caught completely off guard, and the absurdity was high, to say the least. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's a very absurd Like, this is something that I've learned. What real leaders do, they never call themselves the leader. They let other people call them the leader, right? True leadership, I don't have to say I led that team or I was the leader of that team, right? I never once heard Kyle Lowry, who led us to a championship, talk about him being the leader. Our best players was Kawhi, Pascal played better than him. Some moments Fred VanVleet stepped up, but everyone knew the facilitator of that court, the floor, the energy maker, the person that spoke up, the person that was the leader a lot of times was Kyle Lowry, but he never had to say that. The fans said it, the players said it. For me, if you have to say I was the one leading, you probably weren't the one leading.
Well, you probably weren't the one leading. Do you know what I'm saying?
Like, typically let Russ say it. Let Kevin Durant say it. Let James say it. Let other players say, you know what? On that team, the person that really helped me and led me was Kendrick Perkins. Let them say that crap.
And that was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And they still ain't said it.
No, they're not saying it. But you don't have to say that. So, sometimes we look at ourselves, like the song, "This Song Ain't About You," like, Mr. Perkins, this ain't about you, right? This is a whole, it's just, I think it's just so absurd. I think people, yes, you may think you led, but you can say, you know what, I was happy to be part of this team, and I felt that I was able to help lead in areas. Leave it at that. Say I was the one leading, that means that you're kind of pushing everyone out and saying you're the one that was leading. Yeah. And that is absurd. Okay.
Yeah, again, or maybe in his mind. We all can
Hey.
live in our mind. We all got a reality that we live in, right? You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
maybe in his mind, he thought everybody was listening to him.
But now that we're on Earth, right, with other people around you, all you have to think of how that. But anyway, I thought it was very absurd. I thought it was hilarious because Kevin Durant, his Twitter fingers are always hot. So the fact that he said this is the craziest shit he's read or seen all week, that tells me clearly he thinks it's absurd.
Yeah, so Kendrick Perkins has been rubbing a lot of people the wrong way over the last year and a half with some of the takes. Now, I understand some of the stuff that he says or his initial ideas. Man, I'm with most, like 90% of them. I really understand, where he's coming from because it's pure basketball or pure basketball thoughts or knowledge. Or even if I don't agree, I get where he's coming from. But it's the ensuing sentences that throw you off. You know what I mean? The rest of the paragraph becomes hard to listen to in some situations. But this is definitely one of those times where I was just like, man, boss, wait a minute. I ain't never see you call a huddle over there and tell everybody to come in and they ran over, you know what I'm saying? Like, ears open, and bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, so to speak. I ain't never seen nobody come over there to you with that.
Exactly.
Again, I didn't even see for that group in particular, I didn't see a whole lot of that at all because all of those guys are just really good basketball players. So they just kind of competed their way through everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know that was necessarily the case. So, but shout out to you, Kendrick Perkins, if you were leading the Oklahoma City Thunder 10 years ago when they made it to the chip, man. Kudos to you.
He did none of that crap. All right. Not at all. Okay, so let's go to. All right, y'all. We're about to wrap this up, yo. So, right, I guess I'll go first. My shout out, really simple, Asia Wilson, right? Big up to her. Big up to the shoe drop. Support. That's definitely for the culture, but I think it's a big shout out. I also saw that Giannis cannot play in the All-Star game this week. He actually has the injury, so he'll be sidelined. So I wonder who will replace him for the All-Star game. Maybe Scotty Barnes, who knows? But anyway, big up to Asia though on her shoot. She was shout out. What about you, Ryan?
Shout out to me is closer to home. Shout out to my daughter that won her first championship in the 8th grade this past week. Man, I was really proud of her and how she handled or how the group itself handled their business, and I'm looking forward to see how much she grows as an athlete, not just a basketball player, but as an athlete. And I think it's so hard to win championships. Even myself as a basketball player, if you think about yourself as an athlete, how many times were you actually able to win and you've lost you maybe not lost more, but you didn't win as many championships as you played for. Most people don't. So
yeah,
I'm so happy for her to have been in a space where she could win a championship in her second year of even playing basketball. Man, I didn't win a championship until maybe my 3rd or 4th year of playing basketball. So I'm so happy for her. I think that's one that hits close to home. Also want to shout out the Run Sports Daily on X on a daily basis. We're there from 10 a.m. Eastern to noon most days, unless I'm traveling or something like that. Make sure you come through, stop through, hang out, talking the games. It's not necessarily a space that is built around arguing about the game. We just want to get to the facts of what happened in the game and read over the box scores and the stats and break down why things were what they were. If you have a minute while you're at work and you're just trying to get through it before you end up being pushed back into your office space and outside of your home, make sure that you pop in every morning, the Run Sports Daily, 10 a.m. You can find it. You can find me. Mogul Ran is my handle on X.
Sorry, Mogul Ran. Yes.
If you let Andre tell it, it's Miguel.
It wasn't Andre. It was someone else. But
it wasn't Andre. I thought it was Andre.
It was someone else. Someone else.
All right. Well, shout out to Andre, right, man. I didn't mean to put that jacket on you, champ.
Yeah, don't blame Andre for that. It was someone else. But no, great shout outs, guys. Again, thank you so much. You can catch us on all social media platforms. Please subscribe, tell a friend, leave some comments. We love the interaction with y'all. And yeah, have a blessed week. We out.